Welcome to Saint-Tropez,
And look at the speeds. Fastest speed in SailGP ever.
where elegance drapes the shoreline and the Côte d'Azur shimmers in timeless style.
Unbelievable. Seems big problems. There's a massive incident.
But this weekend, the calm is no more. The world's fastest fleet has arrived.
We've got control of holding at Mark 1.
50-foot flying machines driven by pure adrenaline.
This is Formula One on waters.
National pride is on the line.
Give the win to the French. Allez, les Bleus.
Every maneuver and every second counts. From champagne glamour to raw and relentless power, this is the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, raw passion, all action. When it takes, racing on water, racing with impact. Give it all, everything. Give it all, everything. We are racing. When it takes, we are SailGP.
The finish line for Season 5 of SailGP is starting to come into view. However, the tricky Mistral winds of South France await the world's best sailors as the 12 international teams prepare for a showdown on the Mediterranean. The scene is set on the Côte d'Azur, but what will Mother Nature have in store with the next event less than a week away? Welcome to Saint-Tropez, France, and event 9 of the season. One of the most scenic race venues on the planet hosts the international fleet looking for points on their way to a potential season title. What was once a small fishing village has now become an international destination for sailing enthusiasts, as well as one of the most technical race courses on the global schedule. Alongside Olympian Stevie Morrison and former Emirates GBR athlete Hannah Diamond, I'm Todd Harris. Welcome to the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez. Following this event, 2 more stops on this European leg of Season 5 remain. It's a quick turnaround to next weekend and a first-time visit to Geneva, followed by a penultimate event in Spain before the season-ending showdown in the Middle East in Abu Dhabi last week in November. Before we move on, let's bring you up to speed on the action from the first 8 events.
This season has been nothing short of eye-opening.
And they go over 103. Oh, what a moment. Fastest speed in SailGP ever.
6 different winners with every team pushing their F50s to the limit. 4 events remain and the fight at the top is clear. The consistent duo of the Bonds Flying Roos and the Black Foils are level on top with 61 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how that top group, maybe 5 in there, really just kind of stepping out a little bit on the leaderboard. But yeah, all in all, kind of feels like anyone could win.
Emirates joined them on the overall podium after their miraculous recovery from their incident with the United States in Sassnitz.
And for us, I think it just upped the pressure, to be honest, and I think for our team that's good, and yeah, it just made us want to really go out there and try and do the best job we could to kind of say thanks to everyone for getting the boat back out there.
France come in hot off the back of their victory in Sassnitz.
Their first event win since Season 3. Give the win in Sassnitz to the French. Allez, les Bleus.
After joining the league late, they've impressed. One of the few teams with an outside chance of making the podium. They'll be pushing to take their home event and carry that momentum to the end.
It's a dream to come in Saint-Tropez with a win on the bag, and hopefully we will have a kind of the same performance in front of our own fans.
For Los Galos, after back-to-back victories in San Francisco and New York, they slipped to 6th in both Portsmouth and Sassnitz. Here in Saint-Tropez, they'll be desperate to turn their fortunes around and mount a podium charge. They sit 4th overall, just 2 points behind Emirates GBR.
We are getting to the end of the season, and yeah, we look a bit on points. We are in a position now where we have to push to keep our chances open. So yeah, we'll work hard.
Canada, mathematically at least, still has an outside chance of making the grand final from 6th place. A win here in Saint-Tropez is their only option. Switzerland and ROCKWOOL Racing have shown flashes of brilliance, but remain stuck at the wrong end of the leaderboard. Alongside teams hit hardest by season penalty points. The worst off, the United States. A trio of incidents has cost them 18 points. At this stage, they simply want to break even by season's end.
It's a tight bunch at the top of the leaderboard with the Bonds Flying Roos and the Black Foals of New Zealand even on points, but the Aussies hold the tiebreaker, having done better than the Kiwis in the last event. Then it's Emirates GBR in third, and the champions of Season 4 Los Galos in fourth. The French team rounds out the top five. Mubadala Brazil and Team USA are back on the water. That's the good news, but it was a race against time after two serious incidents in Sassnitz took them out of action in Germany less than a month ago.
It's a big incident here.
When Mubadala Brazil had their incident on practice day in Sassnitz, SailGP Technologies knew they had a huge repair to complete in just 16 days. The clock starts ticking the moment the technical team received the news.
Let us know how's the best way out of here.
But when the United States SailGP team collided with Emirates GBR on day one, the double repair became the most challenging 16 days SailGP Technologies have ever faced.
We can't cut corners, we can't rush anything, so it really comes down to our project planning. We have to go through the same process, whether it's cycle cures, processes in between laminates, structural testing, quality sign-off, electronic, hydraulic fit-out. So essentially the time is what it will be, it's the planning around that time.
Mubadala Brazil tore the retaining sockets where the cross structure meets the hulls. Re-establishing this precisely with a brand new forward beam was no easy feat.
So we need to get the new socket reinstated, the platform assembled by the 26th so we can go on the air, structural test, come back down, start painting and systems fit out to make the 5th for shipping.
It's not just the structure of the Brazilian F50 that needed reinstating. The electronics and hydraulics had to be completely replaced.
Exactly 13 days since we received the boats, USA and Brazil, so tremendous effort from everyone involved. We're not quite there yet. We've still got a ways to go with Brazil, but USA is looking good. It's 36 hours to get the boats to Saint-Tropez, and then the shore teams are on site Friday morning. It's a critical week for us. You've got 5 days to put the rest together.
The United States F50 was painted and loaded onto the truck to schedule. However, there was a problem with the Brazilian F50.
Look, we're behind probably 24, 36 hours where we hope to be, and we had a little stick up this morning, and it took us a good 5-6 hours to get the boat apart, and we actually did a little bit of damage getting the boat apart. A huge amount of relief when we separated the boat, and now we can see the light of the tunnel again.
Every platform undergoes a structural test before leaving the facility. 4.1 tons of load is applied incrementally across each hull. It's a nerve-wracking moment as 16 days of hard work hang in the balance.
Right, structural testing complete. Well done everyone. 4.1 ton. Pass.
So now the question is, what will Mother Nature deliver today? And there is a buzz in the compound, and it's not of the good nature. Right now we check with a fourth member of our broadcast team. Here's Olympic silver medalist Lisa Darmanin with the latest.
Some really tough news on the ground here in Saint-Tropez. Unfortunately, due to the threat of thunderstorms and lightning, which is very high risk for the F50s and the athletes, we've had to cancel racing today. So it's all hands on deck right now at the tech side to pack up before the storm rolls in. But yeah, just so unfortunate, but lucky we had such a magnificent day of racing at Saint-Tropez. It really delivered top level racing. It was tough out there, and we're looking forward to more racing next week in Geneva.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa. So racing canceled for today, Super Saturday. That means we take you back to Friday racing to give you some great look back on some top-end conditions. So here it is, race number 1 from Saint-Tropez on race number 1 of the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix. So this is the calm before the storm as we approach 1 minute to go for race number 1. And all 12 teams getting themselves into position. We'll see who goes where, Stevie. We talked about this again. Where do you go? Does it get too systematic? Do you have to get a little crafty to find some open space?
Yeah, we can see a huge spread in the fleet here. A few boats to the right-hand side of our screen from the USA all the way over to Canada. Look like they're quite late to me. They're going to struggle to get into position in time to get back to the start. Australia, well, they've given themselves a good run-up. Blue pole predictor there at the downwind end of the line. That'll make you inside at Mark 1. and well positioned, but it's all about acceleration now. New Zealand, left-hand side of screen, they're up and foiling. They're going to be the attacking boat. I like where Australia is at the moment, though, in the middle of the screen. Well positioned. Canada definitely late here. The Rolex pole predictor sits on top of the Australian boat at the moment, and it's all going to be about acceleration now. There's a very nice setup with all the boats. Spain are in a tricky spot. Who's going to get their timing right? New Zealand are threading the needle mid-line. Let's keep our eyes on them as it turns white. Brilliant start by Brazil, Emirates, Great Britain and New Zealand, and now it's a straight sprint towards Mark 1. I think Brazil can wind it up from here.
Increasing and three. Let's bring it for pressure.
Okay, we're clear of them, just as in the mark.
And as they approach mark number 1, race number 1, they are almost 4 wide.
That's the voice of Paul Goodison on board Mubadala Brazil. They're saying we've got over the New Zealand boat and we've got control at Mark 1.
We're going to need to give room for these guys.
Clear on GBR. Copy.
What a comeback from a broken boat in Sassnitz, Todd, and they're leading at Mark 1.
Welcome back to the show, Mubadala Brazil and Martini Grail, as they are the first to turn away. And there you see on their left-hand side, they've got Emirates GBR, didn't get a great start, got a penalty in the box as they get very close together.
Oh, and GBR have got to keep clear here. They've got to give Brazil, they've got to keep clear. It's very aggressive by Dylan Fletcher. Oh, I wouldn't have been surprised if a question was asked of the umpires there, but it's opened the door for the Bonds Flying Roos. Left-hand side of screen, Australia. Look at the inefficient angle Brazil and Great Britain have sailed, nearly parallel across the course, and that's just opened the door for Slingsby. He's not one to miss that.
You can see how kind of inconsistent that pressure is across the course by the different angles some of the boats are sailing. They have to be up to speed before they can turn down and sail more perpendicular to those ladder lines.
So Emirates GBR and Mubadala Brazil have their own little private battle. That forces them back into the field. Emirates are better on the 2 as they are now in 4th place, but it is the Bonds Flying Roos out in front. ROCKWOOL Denmark sit in 2nd, and the Black Foils of New Zealand 3rd.
Yeah, the Black Foils are in a big bit of breeze there. They've got a lot of pressure, and you can see Emirates, Great Britain and Brazil sailed out of the breeze. It's going to be absolutely crucial for the strategists to have their head out of the boat and try and keep the boat in the better pressure. These small wings that we've heard about, well, they will lose power quickly, but I say that, Emirates, Great Britain, look at the angle they found there, and they're going to sneak back to 2nd. What a save.
And our first split of race 1 here, so first 4 boats turning right, heading towards the shoreline. It could be that they spotted more pressure along there, but it's going to be really tricky just to keep the boat sailing fast into that boundary.
I think one way we can find out is down the water. Lisa, how does it look? Is there more wind on that Saint-Tropez shoreline?
There is, but just down the bottom of the course there. So what I'm seeing at the moment is that on the edge of the courses is where the best wind is, but in the middle there's this huge sort of gap, so it's quite a hard course to navigate. I'd expect to see Emirates, GBR and Australia go all the way to the opposite side.
So here they are now making their way into leg 3. Remember, it's a 6-leg race. This is gate number 2, the DP World Gate at the bottom of the course. As they now make their way to the top, we're now getting word that Italy has gone stopped in the water. So Red Bull Italy having their problems on board.
Yeah, we saw they had a bit of a big touchdown before the race, and I don't know if they've then given themselves some hydro issues with that, the hydraulic systems that control the board. They would have put a lot of load in. Anyway, I'm sure we'll find out about that Italian team soon enough. But what's really interesting, it's so gusty out there, Hannah. It seems like if you get a little bit out of position, drop out the breeze, suddenly you lose hundreds of meters.
Yeah, that's right, and you could be kind of 10, 20 meters from the pressure, but if you're not actually in it, then it makes it really, really tricky to sail next to the boat that's next to you. We saw a couple of boats drop off the foils in some of those maneuvers at the bottom of the course. Looks like they're all up and foiling again, but really tricky day to sail the boat.
The move of the day so far, Stevie, and it's early, is Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR coming back from 5th place to put themselves into 2nd. Saw an angle, they took the chance, and it came up Yahtzee.
Yeah, they just got themselves into a nice bit of breeze, accelerated the boat well. There's going to be an awful lot of technique in how you sail the boat. You've got to sail it smooth. We see them Australians here set up for the manoeuvre. Watch the choreography here. Wing trimmer Draper, he's about to cross the boat. They set up to manoeuvre.
So Chris Draper makes the move. Jason Waterhouse on flight. with a precarious changeover, and now the driver, Tom Slingsby.
That's coming back.
And you just heard Tom say there, really, really soft. So they suddenly had to go a lot more cautious through that manoeuvre, fly the boat really carefully, and ensure you keep the speed in the boat. Because if you lose the speed, you're going to fall off the foils, and that's just meters and meters thrown away as Slingsby now aggressive match race style manoeuvre. He's trying to put disturbed wind on top of Emirates Great Britain.
And I was just going to ask you, Stevie, is Tom Slingsby now racing against Dylan Fletcher, or is he racing basically against what Mother Nature's just going to give him?
I think right here, you're making sure you're positioned correctly against the boat right next to you, so he will be focused on not giving them any inch, but you've got to stay big picture and make sure over the course you're in really the right position for the best breeze.
And it looks like Australia is going to be able to lay this one straight in and take a right-hand turn at gate 3.
You can see by sailing aggressively onto the wind of Emirates Great Britain there, they forced the British to do another manoeuvre. They deliberately tried to push them, unable to make the gate. They've had to split. Should be a big game for the Aussies.
And look at the speed start to come up. Australia, they'll be touching close to 90 kilometers an hour. Emirates GBR, they up for the other side. Now here comes a situation. You've got two boats now trying to get in the circle. You've got the black foils, they'll make the turn. And again, Nikolai Sehested and ROCKWOOL Denmark, they up to split.
Yeah, so he didn't have to manoeuvre then. That's a tactical choice as we see the black foils nearly up to 100 kilometers an hour at gate number 3 there. But yeah, that was a tactical decision there. I think the ROCKWOOL team must think there might be more wind on that side. If we follow, we're just going to stay in disturbed wind and have no chance to overtake. Let's take a split and see what we make happen.
Team that got the whole shot at mark number 1, Mubadala Brazil. Look at the speed on top of their mast. They approach 95 kilometers an hour as they make the turn. And Los Gallos span on the left-hand side at 93.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I think if you're looking for top speeds, it's nearly always going to be Mark 1 because that's the time where they've been able to really wind it up on that first leg from the start. But we're still seeing huge speeds. And the loads going through the boat as they turn away from the wind there are just massive. So the flight controllers are working double time to keep the boats flying smoothly.
Looks like quite a big gain to the black foils here from that right-hand turn compared to Emirates GBR when they turn left at the top. They're coming together quite close here.
Yeah, we can see big gust of wind hitting the ruse there. We heard Draper call it on, but you're looking for the textures on the water.
You really need right turn at bottom. One and in, not on.
Coach Robbie Wilson, so right turn, that's what the Australians look like well set for, so do the British. So maybe the British have lost in the short term to set themselves up for a gain in the long term. We'll see, they're going to come back with the right of way. They're sailing into a huge gust of wind. Emirates Great Britain there, that boat's going to accelerate seriously in here, and they're going to get the favoured right turn that Coach Robbie Wilson has called for.
And Emirates GBR make the turn there as they will follow Australia. The Bonds Flying Roos have the lead. Emirates GBR in second. The Black Foils New Zealand sit in third. And then Spain is now moving up to fourth ahead of ROCKWOOL Denmark.
I think what's so interesting for anyone that's new to SailGP or even sailing in general is we're in a boundary situation. The reason they didn't want to turn left was if you turned left, you'd have to do 3 manoeuvres to get to the next mark. By turning right, you only have to do 2. Every time you manoeuvre, you will lose distance. So they always are trying to minimise the manoeuvres if they can, unless by sailing a little bit of extra distance or extra manoeuvres, you get in more wind and manage to go a bit faster.
12 international teams has now been reduced to 11 for this first race as the Italians had reported hydraulic problems aboard. They'll try to get those fixed because we've got just a few moments away until race number 2 gets underway. But this race is belonging to the Bonds Flying Roos and that man, Tom Slingsby. They are out in front with Emirates GBR in second, the Black Foils in third.
Building touch. Below the mark. Yep. Okay, rolling up. Right. Big roll up.
Coming out of this gate, it'll be one more turn in towards the Adrenaline Lounge and the finish line, and race 1 will be complete. You see Switzerland getting lapped. USA sits in 10th. Germany Deutsche Bank in 9th, and North Star Canada, a team that needed a big performance here. They've dug themselves an early hole. Remember, it's all about those 7 races to get the top 3 points to get into the grand final tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's all about accumulating points, and the team that's caught my eye is France, because they were way out the back early on. They've worked their way back up to that battle for 6th and 7th, and that could be crucial when we get to the counting of the points tomorrow afternoon.
An absolutely beautiful day here on the Côte d'Azur on the Mediterranean here in Saint-Tropez, France. And it will be the Bonds Flying Rouge looking to strike first, although they are way off the mark. They need to take a last second. There it is. Tom Slingsby's got it sorted out. And the Emirates winning moment goes to the Bonds Flying Rouge in race number 1 here in Saint-Tropez.
Oh, Todd Legaios there have done an amazing job. They took the left turn at the bottom and managed to minimise manoeuvres, and they've overtaken New Zealand. New Zealand in a got to keep clear of ROCKWOOL, Denmark. Seherstedt, well, he's gone into Viking mode there, and he's pushed them hard off the course, but that's just opened the door for the Spanish. What a turnaround in this race. It looked like the Spanish were out the back, but Botina's worked some magic, and Los Gallos are going to take third.
ROCKWOOL Denmark pushing the black foils way off to the right-hand side, and you're thinking now that French and Brazil might be able to get in there. Can't do it, not enough distance, and it will be Spain who finishes in third. And right now it's a race to who will get that 4th place spot, and here we go.
There's got to be room here for New Zealand to get in, but ROCKWOOL Denmark have managed that beautifully there. Well positioned by Seherstedt. He's done a nice job, match race the Kiwis out of that. Big loss for the black foils. They're going to be disappointed as we see France 7th place, just fending off Mubadala Brazil, but this is a very strange last leg to the finish here.
Stevie, I guess I'm asking for the fans at home, why are they sailing so far off to the right, then making that zigzag turn into the finish line?
Well, it's just normally we'd go on a straight shot at like an angle the boats can sail. The boats can't sail straight downwind or straight upwind. So the wind is actually coming, as you can see, from the bottom right-hand corner. The boats just can't sail at that angle without doing manoeuvres. We're not used to that. Normally they set up this final reach to the finish very quickly.
Look
the United States,
he's going to try to sneak in there.
Sail straight downwind, and he looks like he might have managed to pull a rabbit out of the hat here, because that's some move, but he's going to get very slow late on. I think he's going to hang in there. Germany could lose out to North Star Canada, but yes, slightly different configuration to the finish there, and I think, to be fair, the crews have not done a good job of adapting to that. They could have seen that before.
So a slow crawl across the line nets the Americans. It looks like 8th place. The Germans are going to have to settle for 10th, with North Star Canada just drifting across in 9th. So as the fleet comes home, one race is now complete here at the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez.
Well, yesterday the starts really were tricky and troubling for the teams. Often the first start of the day is hard, but the fleet were actually quite well lined up here. Turned into a real drag race between the boats out the middle, but actually finding yourself in the middle of the line yesterday was pretty hard.
Yeah, that's right, and we saw from here it was a straight shootout to Mark 1, but choosing where you did that first manoeuvre was also really critical. We saw that boats getting really close in that different pressure. The pressure differences across the course were massive, which led to huge angle changes as they sailed down towards gate 2.
Yeah, classic example as well. You can see it here, Great Britain on the right-hand side, Australia on the left, and it was that real battle of how do I sail my race and avoid the other boats to be able to sort of find the best breeze on the course and not be too distracted by everyone else, whereas you are going to get in boat-on-boat situations. And a real day of trying to compromise that, racing the fleet versus racing your own wind. And I think Australia did that very well early on, but it was a real feature of Emirates Great Britain through the day, how they balanced that boat speed versus racing.
And the Emirates fly time goes to the Bonds Flying Rouge at 100%, so they strike first on day number 1 here at the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez. Tom Slingsby and company get the win. After the race, we had a chance to catch up with the Bonds Flying Rouge squad and their driver, Tom Slingsby. Tom, you guys are looking for another big win. You haven't won since New Zealand. That's event number 2, but you're at the top of the leaderboard. So how does it feel to be back out on the Mediterranean?
Yeah, feels great. Very challenging conditions here, rolling up here. Yeah, it's up and down the pressure. Sometimes we got 20 knots, sometimes we got 10 knots or 8 knots. So yeah, but great start to the racing. We're really happy with that one.
So race number 1 goes the way of the Bonds Flying Rouge. They'll be looking for many more points as the day progressed. With so many moving and complicated parts, it takes an incredible technical team to get the 12 F50s on the water for each and every event, especially in a tight turnaround between Saint-Tropez and Geneva in less than a week's time.
The first 3 days are pulling these boats out of their containers that we ship them around the world in, putting them together, connecting them hydraulically, electronically, the riggers going through the platforms and setting the rigging up, and getting the boats from the pieces we travel them around the world in to finished race-ready yachts.
Every event for us, we base off a one event plan, and this comes down to all our checklists. So the boats go through rigorous check before they roll out of their tents, once they get in the water, and then when they return home at night, we can assess for any damages or check in on any other checklists that we need to, that are required for the next day of sailing.
There's a lot of maintenance on these boats all the time. That's before the crashes and the incidents that we see on the water. Hey mate, hey, I think we're going to need a 15-minute delay on Brazil and base it on the fact that we might need to extend that as we go. We don't have any spare time, but that 3 days is our kind of minimum period that we can get the fleet together. Sassnitz was a standout for us this year. We rely on some very, very good people. To see boats do what GBR did in Sassnitz is the reason we do it. We've got a massive, massive group of people that work behind closed doors here, and from our hydraulics team, our electronics team, our boat building team, rigging, wing, foil, you know, I can continue on and on and on, but these guys are all hugely experienced in their individual departments.
We got a fair amount of work to do on that. Carry on. Yes, right.
And our goal is to use the skill set we've got with the people involved to essentially, when needed, pull off some miracles every now and again.
I think everyone knows that the tech team is the silent team behind the scenes. There's plenty of heroes amongst this group in the orange shirts that are, will always strive to get these boats on the start line.
SailGP's tech team, absolute artisans as they go to work and get these boats ready to roll. So Mother Nature has shut down the racing for Super Saturday. We will bring you race number 2 from day number 1 in Saint-Tropez in a moment.
Flying carbon machines driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
SailGP Racing is high-speed chess on water. You've got to know exactly when to attack and when to defend. I am taking you inside the top defensive moves that separate the champions from the chasing pack. Rule number 1 is stay between your rival and the next mark. Match their moves, stick like glue. Sail in the same wind and don't give them space to breathe. It's like body checking. You're blocking their path without ever touching them. By sailing in the same wind at the same angle, you take away their options. If they try to break free, you respond instantly and keep them in your control. In sailing, we call this covering your opponents. Rule 2. Use disturbed air to slow your opponents down. Here's where it gets sneaky. In SailGP, disturbed air is one of your most powerful tools in defense. The wind powers the F50. If you can place your boat just ahead of your rival in the right position, your wing disturbs the airflow, hitting the boat behind. It's like limiting their accelerator by reducing the amount of power available to them. So a smart defender uses disturbed air as a weapon to control, slow down, and frustrate the team behind. Rule 3. Weaponize the rules against your opponent. You use the rulebook to control the game and hurt the next threat. Let's say a boat is trying to overtake on the windward side. The leeward boat can push away the other boat and force them to keep clear. If the boat that's being attacked reacts too late, they risk slowing down too much and being given a penalty, or, in this case, having disastrous consequences. It's not being reckless, it's applying pressure with the tools the rulebook gives the athletes. Defend your position, attack the opportunity, and use the rules to make your rivals play your game. And that's how you play chess on water with speeds of 100 kilometers per hour.
Saint-Tropez has become a classic on the Rolex SailGP Championship. The stunning waters of the Côte d'Azur is a dream destination where you can immerse yourself in the bustling and chic lifestyle. The once tiny fishing village has managed to retain its quiet charm, with narrow cobbled streets leading down to the world-famous harbor, lined with stunning yachts, with celebrities, models, and music stars aboard. With incredible beaches, beautiful hotels, and restaurants housing some of the most talented chefs in the world, Saint-Tropez is a true holiday destination. Some uncharacteristically stormy weather has rolled into Saint-Tropez, canceling live racing today on Super Saturday. So we turn our attention to the next event at Geneva. But before we do that, we want to take you back to yesterday's racing, race number 2 in Saint-Tropez. So here we go, race number 2 on the water as the teams head for the start box. Hannah Diamond, what did you learn from race number 1 start that you would want to obviously put into play here in race number 2?
Well, I think you can't assume that there's going to be breeze all over the course, that's for sure. We saw really different angles, really different conditions, just so close to each of the boats. So it's going to be about hitting the start line right, but finding the pressure around the course.
And we're missing the stars and stripes right now as Team USA is having some issues on board with 30 seconds to go before the start of race number 2. They pushed the start back, Stevie, by 2 minutes, and the Americans obviously have not fixed what's going wrong on board.
Yeah, not sure what's happened there. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. But right now we see North Star Canada. They were late last time. They're very, very early right now. They've got a lot of time to kill. What they have got is space. Rolex Pole Predictor sits on board Emirates GBR. They're well positioned. Those boats to the left-hand side of the screen are late already. That includes the Bonds Flying Rouge. The Black Foils are threading the needle, but Dylan Fletcher's got it wound up on Emirates Great Britain. Oh, North Star Canada are going to be so fast from the top of the line. Giles Scott, he needs a good one. He's got a good one. What can they do from here?
15.
As they approach mark number 1 in race number 2, it is elbows out, not needed, as North Star Canada gets the whole shot here, and they will be the first to make the turn.
Sorry, Siege. Talk to me on that.
That's fine, you could go.
Oh, the Rolex sprint leader on Canada, North Star Canada there have got that done, and you can see the boats at the back of the pack are still not on the foils. They're labouring in the start area still. That includes the Bonds Flying Rouge. This event is going to be so tough out there today. If you're in breeze, you're in good shape. If you're not, you're struggling. And the Black Foils, first to manoeuvre, they're on the attack. They're looking to roll forward and take North Star Canada's wind. Los Gallos make a move at Mark 1 as well.
Back of the fleet, big speed still there. You saw Switzerland, and they were into the 90s. Good to see Italy back up and sailing, and Germany Deutsche Bank sit in 7th. But to Stevie's point, in the back, you've got teams that should not be there normally, including the Bonds Flying Rouge and the Americans.
Nice breeze all the way
Giles
here.
Scott, good, get the elbows out there, because he gave the Black Foils a nudge, but we know all the boats are going to want a right turn at the bottom. We heard that before. It looks like we're going to set up. It's going to come down to execution. Oh, the Black Foils spin now. Can the Black Foils become overlapped inside North Star Canada? I don't think they're going to quite do it. North Star are going to be faster from here, but they've got to be careful to give the Black Foils some room.
At gate 2, the DP World Gate, it's a tight situation down there between the Black Foils and North Star.
Oh, Giles Scott did that absolutely perfectly. He gave just enough room, and then suddenly he gains the right of way, and the Black Foils have to keep clear. But back in the pack, well, it's all on. Great Britain have lost a lot of distance, but France again labouring in 9th, and the Bonds Flying Rouge are way out the back.
Another tight cross here as they go through. Remember, green means you've got the right of way, red means you have to give way, and it's weird to see the Bonds Flying Rouge after the performance, Stevie, we saw in the last race be in 10th place, Hannah. Do you think there's a problem on board, or do you think it's just a poor start?
No, I think there's just such big pressure differences all over the course. You can see the Bonds Flying Rouge turning left there. They're in really light pressure. We can hear Chris Draper talking about that now. You can see the difference in colour on the water, and it's making a massive difference to strategy.
And look at this angle, Hannah. Look at the Spanish and the British are nearly sailing straight up the course. The wind's rotated way to the right where they are, and they're able to sail basically straight towards the next gate. So perfect for them. Big gains coming. It won't be good for Switzerland or Australia.
And then if you compare that to the angle that Italy are sailing on the same tack further down the course in the middle of the screen, there's almost, 45, 50 degrees of difference in the breeze direction that they're sailing in.
Lisa, you're out there on the water. Is there actually anything obvious to see, or have you just got to play what's in front of you at the time?
to play what's in front of you. You can see just how erratic it is, and you kind of have to sail your own pressure. I'm sitting at the top gate, so the gate they're going to now, and there's a big bit of pressure here, but then 100 meters down, there's not much. So, you know, it's really about linking it all together and not worrying too much about the other boats, but sailing your own race.
Right now it is North Star Canada that has the lead. On the inside, you've got the Black Foils sitting in second place, and there at the top of your screen, you've got Emirates GBR and Los Gallos, Spain.
Have a little replay here as we come back on board the German boat, getting way high on the foils, and then they just crash down off the foils there, just flying too high. Both boards in the water a little bit late to lift the old board, and that just put too much lift. Boat comes up, hobby horses down. Big mistake by the Germans there, really, as we can see here. Canada, is he going to make it round the gate? If he can get to gate 3 and no more manoeuvres, it's going to be a big gain for Giles Scott.
3, 2, 1, angle right in front.
They look like they've got great pressure for that left turn there as well. So New Zealand looking quite slow, trying to work quite hard to make the mark, to make this right turn here.
Yeah, it's interesting call. I think when you've got the smaller wing up, if you are in a bit less breeze or a bit slower speed-wise, it's very hard to make a manoeuvre. So once you've made a decision, you're kind of stuck with that decision quite early on.
Constant communication out there on board between the crews, and then on the shore their coaches watching the same data that's coming across the screen. It is North Star Canada that has about a 15-second lead, but Stevie, we saw once again the speeds picked up for the Black Foils as they made the turn on the other side of the course, again going into 90-kilometer-hour range.
Yeah, it is. And you can see the big patch of water sort of near where the French are. It's quite dark, and as you went down the course there was less wind. The trouble with these boats is you sail faster than the wind, so actually those leaders are going to be sailing into lighter and lighter breeze, which should give the boats behind a little chance to catch up relative to them. But I think that front pack of 4 all the way to Emirates GBR are pretty well extended and should be in a little battle of their own.
These are the kind of winds that France usually excels at. Winners of the last event in Sassnitz, Germany. Emirates GBR picking up a penalty going outside the boundary.
That was just scrappy there, though, by the French. They didn't nail the manoeuvre. Even when it is tricky like this, you've got to put that extra focus on doing good manoeuvres, because that's the basics. You have to respect the basics in these kind of conditions. As we see now, coming in, they don't have the right of way on the Black Foils, but they've got a very nice angle. Could be a lead change here. Burling's found more breeze and better angle by splitting at the top of the course. He made a short-term loss. Oh no, he's going to have to dig behind Canada last moment here. We could see a split at gate 4.
Back up in 3, 2, accident, please, Annie. Turning up.
Oh, North Star are going to be really, really slow here.
Tight.
We heard in race 1, though, how important it was to get that right turn to minimise the manoeuvres up this next leg. So they obviously were happy to sacrifice the speed, but we'll have to see whether it pays off.
And despite the penalty, Emirates GBR maintains their 3rd place position, so it's New Zealand technically on the water that have taken over the top spot. North Star Canada sits in 2nd, Emirates GBR, and then Spain has moved all the way up to 4th, with Brazil rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, so next bit of whip breeze. Top right-hand side of screen. Does look like there's wind coming down the course for the Black Foils, but they're not in a lot of wind right now, so this manoeuvre now, it will be very, very difficult to stay on the foils.
Stand by. Down.
They're off the foils on board the Black Foils, soon to be back up on them, but it looks like North Star Canada have done enough here. They've got a lot more wind, nearly 7 kilometres an hour more wind, according to the data from the Oracle Cloud there. So that should be a big gain for North Star, and they're going to be able to make this mark with only 1 more manoeuvre. I'm not sure if the Black Foils were going to have to do 2 more manoeuvres from here. So North Star looking good for this one.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have good breeze all the way into the mark, so they've picked a nice lay line there. But it looks like the Black Foils underneath have got a big right shift and might be able to lay it.
Oh, he's got a candy wrapper. He's just wrapped around. He will be slower, but he has the right of way. North Star are going to have to try and slingshot down the inside here, use their speed, but I imagine Burling will have a trick in the bag for that one.
I'm not sure they can claim that they saw that one coming, to be honest.
No, you got to ride your luck sometimes, but the Black Foils have absolutely nailed that.
Pistol Pete Burling picks the right time to get a little gift from Mother Nature, and the Emirates winning moment in race number 2 will go the way of the Black Foils, just ahead of North Star Canada.
Tell you what, back in the middle of the pack here as we see Germany coming round. Germany and Italy have sailed a nice race here, working their way up through the fleet. That's pretty encouraging signs for those teams. They've worked through really well. You see how hard it is. Bond's Flying Rouge, they're still in 10th, so the top team in the season, even they can't make the overtakes when they're back in the pack.
So it'll be Germany, Deutsche Bank will finish in 5th. With Italy, Red Bull will get 6th. It looks like Mubadala Brazil will hold on for 7th. And ROCKWOOL Denmark sliding into 8th place. France back there in 9th. And the winners of race number 1, the Bond's Flying Rouge, looking to hold on to 10th place if they could hold off the Swiss.
All the way up.
It's hard to be consistent out there, isn't it, today? That's one thing we can say for absolutely sure. But all these teams did have a very, very poor start. So I think that's going to be kind of where the coaches need to get in the ear of Australia, Switzerland, ROCKWOOL Denmark, figure out the start box and try and put yourself in a better position to get out of that line.
So from 10 points to 1 point for the Bond's Flying Rouge, and they'll have a quick debrief before we get to race number 3. Well, just a beautiful day here in Saint-Tropez, France. Day number 1 of the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. 2 races, 2 different winners. No surprise to see the Bond's Flying Rouge and, of course, the Black Foils of New Zealand. Wow, those are 2 of the top flight teams, and they share the top positions on the Season 5 standings.
Well, as the day did start to pan out yesterday, this was the first sign of how unstable the wind was becoming. We saw half the fleet trapped in no wind, Hannah, really struggling to get off the line. And it was all about how you positioned in the start box and how you predicted what was about to happen next wind-wise.
Yeah, not easy to get your time and distance right, and in this race, North Star Canada did that really, really well, and it paid dividends as they came around the bottom mark, neck and neck with the Black Foils, who just managed to sneak around the inside there. But, you know, keeping up with the changing conditions is really hard, especially when you're having to work so hard just to keep the boat sailing as fast as it can. And I don't think we can say that the Black Foils knew when they did that tack coming in that they would make that leg to Mark 1. But, you know, sometimes you've got to chance it. They were happy to split at that bottom mark and then take the win from Canada.
Yeah, they did a nice job, and I think what we started to see through that was teams were then making mistakes as the day went on. It was getting harder to sail the boats, it was getting harder to predict the wind, and we started to see the fleet in whole look quite scrappy, which did lead to then some of the bigger teams actually being at the back of the pack, Australia in this race.
So that was the Emirates winning moment going the way of the Black Foils. The Emirates Fly Time Award goes to North Star Canada as they go 100% in race number 2. After the race, we had a chance to visit with the driver of the Red Black Foils, Peter Burley. Pete, tricky conditions out there. Really no consistency with the wind. Is that what you're finding?
I would say it's a whole heap steadier than it was in Sassnitz last week. So, yeah, it's been nice to take the learnings from that, get a few good races on the board early. Looking forward to putting together another couple of nice ones now.
Liv, I don't know if you can hear me in the background there, but obviously really, really tight racing, and we're wondering here in the box whether or not you saw that little cheeky lift to get round the final mark and overtake into the finish, or was that a little bit of luck?
I'd say 50-50. It actually caught us out in the last race, so I think we took note of it and hopefully learned from that and came to our advantage that time. So we'll see if that happens again.
So New Zealand backs up their 5th in race number 1 with a win in race number 2. And after 2 races, this is what the action looked like on day 1 at the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez. The Black Foils, Los Gallos, and Emirates JBR all dialed in on 16 points with 2 more races still to go on day 1. Mother Nature canceling race on Saturday, but we're racing on Friday, and we're bringing you all the action. Fans were out in force on a picture-perfect day on Friday. Unfortunately, Saturday, not as much lightning in the area, so racing has been canceled, but we'll continue to bring an encore presentation of Friday's racing.
Flying carbon machines driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
The team's in Kiel, they're in Eric Isle's hometown, and the coaches have come up with something super top secret.
And we went through the course and said, like, which info is needed, what can be bigger. We needed to find a way of training and simulating. So we added the digital wing screen, the tactical software that we have on these SailGP boats, we added them to those little boats.
Try to respect the boundaries. Do you see the boundary? We're gonna do it again.
The game that we're playing with these boats is helping us understand tactical software a lot better.
So this is probably the best shot that we have to train more than others.
But the real question is, will it help them in SailGP? Because getting a good start is everything in this racing. And really, this is the moment that we see if all their training, their secret training, has been paying off.
Really good start from Team Germany. Their position in the pre-start box has been spot on. What an improvement. Emirates GBR leads, closely followed by Team Germany, Deutsche Bank.
It's an epic race. There's this battle between Emirates Great Britain and the German team. It's sort of neck and neck the whole way.
Oh, he's overtaking the Brits before the final mark. Germany will take it home.
Germany, they cross the finish line first, and the crowd just erupts.
We win the first race at our home event, and yeah, I get emotional again.
It's only the first day, I have to say, by the way. That's the first day, and you were talking about, the world changed already, but we had a good race, you know.
Unfortunately, the breaking news at Event 9 here in Season 5, the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez, part of the Rolex SailGP Championships, is racing on Saturday, has been canceled due to the threat of lightning and thunderstorms in the area. So we turn our attention to Geneva, the next event, which is next weekend. Right now, we take you back to race 3 on Friday.
Yeah, you can see there's really good pressure coming down the course now, but one of the difficult things is things are changing so quickly. So just because there's pressure in the start box now, it doesn't mean it's going to hold until start time.
And we'll check in shortly with Lisa Darmanin, who is down on the water for the latest information, Stevie. All right, here we go. We're coming up on 40 seconds, and you've had 2 chances to crack the code on this one. What do you want to do on your 3rd attempt?
Well, I think what I liked was Canada had space. Interesting, they've come back early into the box again, so similar strategy to what got them to Mark 1 first the last time. The pole position is down the line. The trouble is, if you're in that group of boats, you're lacking a lot of control. So Black Foils in Canada, well positioned right now. Emirates Great Britain, they've got a bit of a fight on. They are well positioned, but can they accelerate? Rolex pole predictors on board Spain here. The wind is rotated a long, long way right. Bad news for Canada. Black Foils might thread the needle here. It's all going to be about winding it up into the start. Los Gallos have control. USA and Canada are out. Oh, the Black Foils, he's threaded the needle through there. What a start by Burling, what a start by Botine, and now these two are in a straight arm wrestle fight towards Mark 1.
With just 11 boats in the start box, Mubadala Brazil out because of hydraulic issues. Canada, North Star, and the United States also took themselves out, so plenty of room at the front of the spear. And here we go at mark number 1, and it looks like Red Bull Italy's got the prime location.
Yeah, Spain gave a little nudge to the Kiwis there, sailed a bit high, and in doing so took themselves out of it. Ruggie Tita there, he's done a great job of taking advantage, but potentially slow to manoeuvre out of Mark 1 here. Has he got himself in good breeze?
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times that going all the way to the boundary there has worked, but a couple of times it hasn't. So they've kind of taken a little bit of risk there. And you see Germany coming down the screen really nicely and some good pressure there.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is when these gusts come through, that it's a big shift towards the right, bottom right-hand corner of our screen, and that's where Germany are. They're sailing nearly straight down the course. Massive gain, and you can see the Black Foils look like they were leading off the start. They're 8th, got pushed really wide here, now straight down the course for those first 3 boats. But we know that it's going to change from here. You can see right-hand side of screen, there's less wind. That's where they're going to go back to in a minute. So how do you set yourself up strategically to get through that light wind patch quickly?
At gate 2, the DP World Gate, it is Germany Deutsche Bank that is in the lead. France now making their presence felt here on home waters. They'll tuck into 2nd, and Red Bull Italy will round the corner, and they will sit in 3rd.
Pretty much a complete flip in the fleet there. Everyone that manoeuvred quickly at Mark 1's made a massive gain. The Black Foils have managed to save it. They're in 6th. they're in the mix. And Australia, well, they've got work to do as well. The points are crazy up and down here. Can the Germans make it stick from here and turn this one into a race win?
Look at Canada and the USA, Stevie. I don't know what was going on there, but they forced each other and they got off course, had to do a full 180 to get back in the box.
Yeah, it's just a big wind shift. The wind turned hard to the right and suddenly they were out of the limits of that start box. The whole fleet was blocking them. They're in bad shape. So we're going to come in and have a look at the replay on the United States. We can see that they can't go over the line early. That mark to the left was the mark there, but the fleet was stopping them from going through it. So it was a big shift in the wind. A little bit unlucky in some ways. They did position themselves at high risk. We saw that Canada led at Mark 1 in race 2, but they've got to take a bit of risk if you want to lead normally. And Lisa, it's pretty shifty down there.
Oh, it's so shifty, and I mean, there's big mountains all around Saint-Tropez, which is beautiful, but it's really playing with the wind, and where the start box is, it's so hard to predict what's going to happen. The course right now, that Saint-Tropez side, where Switzerland is right now, that's where the best pressure is. There's really nice big gust over there, but as they move towards this gate, where that start box is, it gets to get more fickle, more erratic, and you have to be super dynamic.
And I think the operative word there, Hannah Diamond, and what Lisa said is erratic. Is what you had moments ago may not be there in 5-10 seconds. And what you did in the last race is going to have really no bearing on what you do in the next race.
Yeah, that's right. These sailors are really having to think on their feet. So not only for the strategists, but also it changes how you sail the boat. So for the flight controllers, the wing trimmers, they're really having to adapt to these conditions. And you'll see that the people that adapt quickest are the ones that generally keep that average boat speed nice and high.
Germany has fallen back, Stevie. The German team is now sitting in fourth. It is France, the home team, that's out in front. Red Bull Italy in second. And Emirates GBR, once again, Stevie, a consistent team, always in the top 5.
Well, they are. And if we go here and look at the Oracle Cloud for the data, we can see Emirates Great Britain, they're converting poor results into good ones. That's what's a good thing. But they're doing that by staying in space. Germany manoeuvred in a weird position for me then. They tacked right in the pack, and now they're suffering. They were a bit of a slammer high. Slice of ham in a sandwich there, easy for me to say that, but and they just dropped right out of it. They're squeezed, couldn't sail their mode. I think the key in this condition is manoeuvre when you're in pressure, but try and keep yourself in space to sail fast. That's what New Zealand have done. They've got themselves right back in the race by getting a bit of space here. They're still in the pack, but they're going to be splitting from the fleet at this top gate. They'll be challenging hard on that Italian boat.
Oh, look at Spain cutting to the inside of the French.
Is the gas coming now?
Looking
all
for
about
pressure.
They are looking for the pressure, Todd, and we can see that big gust of wind on the black foils, and again they're in space, so they're going to be chasing really hard. It looks like pretty good breeze where the black foils are heading at the moment.
I'm happy to go all the way. Happy, a little lighter.
Yeah, the fact that Burling's happy to go all the way suggests he's happy with his decision. He's not thinking, okay, we got this wrong and we're going to have to get out of here pretty quick.
Keep your eye on the Bonds Flying Roos. They are currently sitting in 7th place. Remember, they won race number 1, but they came back with a 10th in race number 2. And as we all know, Hannah and Stevie, you can have one bad race, you really can't have 2.
No, you can't, although I think at this event it's going to be pretty hard not to have some bad results. This could be very, very high scoring. Here we go. Let's have a look at the breeze here. There's a little bit more breeze on the Spanish side of the course at the moment. 2 kilometres an hour more wind. That's converting to a pretty good boat speed for them. But right of ways with Italy. So Italy, good lead. And it looks like the black foils could be up to 3rd. Looks like a gain at the moment for the right turn at the top.
Okay, guys.
And in these conditions, it can be really easy to focus on how you're sailing the boat, lose the sight of that kind of bigger picture, and that's where you're going to make those gains with strategy. It's easier said than done, though, isn't it? When boats are hard to sail, you've got distractions with boats around you, but being able to look out for that pressure is really important.
What's interesting here is New Zealand have sailed this race, as of Italy, with the intention of going left at this last downwind gate, which was where New Zealand managed to snatch the lead last turn by going left turn and then finding that big shift in the wind. So this is definitely a set play strategy by the black foils, and it'll be interesting if they do roll it out and look to split from Spain at the bottom of gate 4.
It's one thing to want to do it, Stevie. It's another thing to be able to execute it amidst the 11 other boats out there, as we see Italy now making the turn of the DP World Gate. They'll head upwind, and then it'll be a left-hand turn into the finish line here in race number 3, and it's Red Bull Italy out in front. Los Gallos, Spain, sit in 2nd. The Black Foils in New Zealand in 3rd, and France now currently in 4th.
All right.
So they have gone left, Spain have gone right. So Spain look like they're going to sail to pretty good breeze to me in the short term. It might not be bad news for Los Gallos, but what's off the right-hand side of our screen? That's the question. In the pack, Emirates Great Britain and the Bonds Flying Roos are in a bit of a tussle there. Big fight. They turn right at the bottom, but both boats are going to be very, very slow. Oh, if you fall off the foils, it's so painful.
And turning slowly.
Really good pressure on exit.
That was the voice of Blair Took there saying, oh no, it was Kyle, sorry, that was Kyle Langford on board the Italian boat there, wing trimmer, calling good pressure. This could well be the first ever race win for the Italians here, Todd. They've yet to win since they started out as a new team in season 5.
No announcer jinx just yet, Stevie. Leg 5 of 6 here in race number 3, and now it is fully on. Ruggiero Tito meeting up with fellow Olympic gold medalist, and it's Diego Botín who's going to have to dip in behind him, and if he can hold this line hand, it looks like the Italians are to get that first win.
Yeah, that's right. They've played this last leg really nicely before they turn left towards the finish. Nice and calm on board, that's what we like to see.
Around the buoy they go, and there they see the finish line with the legend Jimmy Spithill, their CEO at command, and you've got Ruggiero Tito out in front, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 4-time NACRA world champion, and now you can add to his resume a winner at SailGP, and it comes in the 3rd race at the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez. Welcome to the show, Italy.
Oh, there'll be some ripples on the Red Bull now, won't there, out there? A windy race win, and the Italian fans go crazy. And we know one Jimmy Spitill's going to be pretty happy on that shore as well.
No question about it. One of the newest teams in the league, and a strong performance in tricky conditions. Los Gallos will finish in 2nd place, and it looks like the Black Foils will hold on for 3rd. Now France coming in full steam ahead. They'll try to sail that 4th, and it'll be Germany Deutsche Bank in a top 5 situation. What a race with just one more race to go here when we return to Saint-Tropez.
You could just see the sailors there loving it. That was Matt Van Dam, the grinder on the French boat. They had a tough race there, but they were just really enjoying it. And it's the Bonds Flying Roos. Tight finish here, as we can see. Emirates Great Britain are going to get across the line just ahead of ROCKWOOL Denmark, but they all need to turn. Oh my lord! Denmark got a little high and couldn't turn up as quick as they'd like. Oh, that was tight. That seawall where the fans are is pretty good here. Oh, the Australians have got a penalty relative to the United States. They're going to be 10th again. Wow, this is a huge moment. They're my absolute favourites in the big breeze, the Australians, Todd. And they've had 2 shockers out here, and they're getting a bit loose across the finish there.
So the Americans come across behind the Australians, so a rough day after the first race. And Tom Slingsby not happy with that performance for him and his squad. North Star Canada will come across as well. So after 3 events on day 1 of the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix here in Saint-Tropez, these were the standings. It was Los Gallos, Spain, out in front by 1 point clear of the Black Foils of New Zealand. Emirates GBR were holding down 3rd, and then a large gap back to Red Bull Italy, the winners of the last race in race number 3. Labou, the French, looking for big points. They sit in 5th, and ROCKWOOL Racing. But surprising to see the Bonds Flying Roos all the way back in 8th place. Tough going for the Aussies in that last race.
Well, I think what we started to see in these gusty, shifty conditions is how you can have a plan in the start, but how quickly that plan can get thrown off when the shifts are in. United States and Canada, bottom of our screen, they just were too early, too high on the line, and there was no room. So that was a disaster for them, but it was largely due to how changeable the wind was, Han.
Yeah, and I think we've said all day that you can't just rinse and repeat what you did in the last race because the conditions are so changeable. So it's really interesting to see North Star Canada go for that top end of the line. They know it's risky, but they tried it again and it didn't work out this time.
Didn't work out in Italy here. I mean, it was lovely to see them at the front of the fleet. Red Bull Italy got that bit of space, and we could just see all the time it was dynamic, it was evolving. New Zealand, whilst we say about being fixed in a pattern, they did have that playbook of finding space and then trying to set themselves up with this boundary style of racing of minimising manoeuvres towards late on in the race. I think they did a nice job, but how good to see Italy bring it home, Han.
Yeah, they've been working towards it for a long time, so really great to see them take their first race win. But we haven't seen how they perform at the front of the fleet, so it was even better to see them just keeping to their processes, really nice and calm on board, not trying to change anything to take that first race win.
And it was Red Bull Italy and Ruggiero Tito crossing the line to get the winning moment at 88 kilometers an hour. They also get the Emirates fly time as the Italians keep it in the air 100% of the time in the race.
Ruji, congratulations, your first race win here at SailGP. That must feel pretty nice.
Yeah, absolutely. We are super happy. I think the team did a great job, and yeah, we can't be more proud than what we achieved in these winning races. But of course, we didn't have an amazing day. We had some up and downs. Unfortunately, the first race we got a technical issue. Couldn't move the wing anymore, and that had been a bit of a shame. Just starting with not finishing in the first race. But then, yeah, we slowly climbed up. We had some good moments, bad moments, good starts, average start, bad start. But yeah, it was a really tricky day, but it's amazing to be here to race with this Mistral, flat water, and yeah, amazing conditions. So super happy.
It was up and down for everybody, but you had a big nosedive before the racing started. What happened there?
Yeah, so yeah, we had a bit of a moment. A strong gust came in, and we were flying a bit too high. We stuffed it pretty hard. At the first moment, I was a bit scared for Kyle because he fell in front of the net. So we asked for a medical assistance, but after that, everything was solved except for the boat that had a big damage. We had all the short team and the tech team came on board and solved the issue. We just asked for a minute delay and everything was solved. Of course, it was not the best to race with just such a wrapping around the fairing, but yeah, great job.
And we will continue to bring you action from day one of the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez as day number 2 has been canceled by Mother Nature. Saint-Tropez is known for celebrities enjoying its pristine waters, but yesterday a Formula One legend got a taste of the F50 in top-end conditions. Formula One legend Valtteri Bottas joined ROCKWOOL Racing in Saint-Tropez. Bottas has recorded the fastest unofficial F1 speed of 378 kilometers an hour in Baku qualifying back in 2016. He's not used to swapping sides in a high-performance machine, but he quickly found the need for speed.
92.6, Valtteri Bottas, the fastest guest sailor in SailGP history.
That's intense, man.
Yeah, definitely have even more respect for these guys now and for the whole team. Everything just happened so quick. Of course, you know, with practice they probably get used to it, but for me I was like pretty shocked how quickly everything happened. You really listen to the comms, being clear on the comms, being really good in the teamwork. It seems to be the key in this one. So everyone needs to work really synchronized.
3, 2, 1, bearing away.
And that was the action on Friday. Beautiful weather throughout as racing has been canceled today on Saturday. So we will take the results from Friday. That means there's one more important race to go. We take you back now to race number 4 on day number 1 at the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix. So here we go, 1:15 to go. There you see the standings as Spain has a 1-point lead. New Zealand, Great Britain, your top 3. And that's where you need to be, the top 3 by the end of racing tomorrow.
Well, it already worked to do for teams like Australia. Big race ahead.
I think we've seen some teams do a really good job of entering the start box and coming off cleanly off the line, but we've also had some absolute shockers for some of the teams. So they'll really be looking to make kind of amends for the last 3 races and get off that line really well.
So all 12 teams in the start box now as we approach 40 seconds to go for the final fleet race today. France way out the back, Stevie, and Emirates GBR late to the party.
Yeah, the French have rolled the dice here. They're planning on there being a gap at the top of the line, which maybe there will be, maybe there won't, but there's a famous thing that says hope is not a good strategy. So Delapierre might need to change things up here. He's going to be lit up like a Christmas tree coming in here, but I don't know where the gap's going to be. He's rolling across the front. This is some move by Delapierre here. Oh, he spins it in front and he's got to park it. He's going to struggle to park. The Black Falls, they're going to be off the corner of the course here. ROCKWOOL, Denmark out the middle of the line are well positioned here. Mubadala, Brazil again. The whole fleet's going wide here. Big rotation and the Bond's flying ruse. Oh, I think he's over early.
Early start penalty, Australia.
Oh, that's a shocker, and it's going to be the Germans that are going to be miles ahead at Mark 1 from here. Slingsby is going to blow up about that one.
Let's get going.
So they have to fall behind the fleet, and look at the speeds. 97 kilometers an hour as Germany Deutsche Bank will get the whole shot in the 4th race today.
Oh, Eric Heil, they nailed the start there, did a brilliant job. Slingsby was literally about 20 centimetres, travelling at 19 metres a second early for that start. Oh, it was near perfection for the Bond Flying Rouge, but Hero turned to 0 there.
So now it is on this last race. Look at the Bonds Flying Rouge, and I have a feeling that Tom Slingsby is going to borrow a term from you, Stevie, drive it like he stole it.
He's going to be having to put a big comment. Huge race for the Bond Flying Rouge now, but we know how well they do when they're motivated and fired up. Black foils have manoeuvred into a lot of wind here. We can see the black foils of Mubadala Brazil sailing nearly straight down the course. They will be gaining here, and they need to make some gains. Black foils have had a pretty good day so far, as of Emirates Great Britain, but Spain, well, they're out the back at the moment, and they need a top 3 here if they've got any hope of the grand final.
3, 2, 1. Heading up.
Look at those speeds at the DP World Gate, gate number 2.
All the way.
You can hear the voice of Stuart Bithell there, the wing trimmer on Germany.
Oh, ROCKWOOL Denmark, they lost control, got off too high on the foils, couldn't manoeuvre up. Massive error there. They just got so loose coming in that fight. If you're too fast, you can't turn the boat up. You've got to kill a bit of speed to be able to turn it into the breeze. ROCKWOOL Denmark came in absolutely hammer down, couldn't turn the thing up, and they've lost 6 places in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, don't underestimate how hard it is to actually slow the boat down in that moment before you make that turn. So they'll be kicking themselves on board there, but time to catch up. They'll be doing the best they can.
And what's going on with Los Gallos? They are in the back of the pack in 12th. France sits in 11th. North Star Canada having their issues on the left side of the screen at the bottom of the course. They're in 10th and almost at a dead stop.
Similar issue, Tom. They just coming in a bit fast, couldn't quite control the roundup and in the flight control situation. A lot of disgruntled sailors out there need a serious reset on a lot of boats. We come back to the start here and we can see the Germans. Look at that on Mark 1 as we see the German team go flying round us there. ROCKWOOL Denmark, well, they were in second, of course, until that error down at the bottom gate. We can just see so fast into Mark 1, but everything really split out.
And that pre-start, Stevie, I mean, there's just not enough real estate. And once one boat went for that right-hand side, everyone followed. But Conte de la Pera, this is the guy that lit the fuse.
Well, he was out of position and he repositioned quite well, but he maybe didn't do enough. But what it did do is a big rotation in the wind. We saw it last time. Big right shift meant they couldn't make the start there. And a lot of teams, big teams, were way down. And back on the water, the Germans, well, they're making it go pretty well here, keeping things well positioned. They'll be looking to block the wind onto Emirates Great Britain. Here we go, simultaneous manoeuvres.
Yeah, you see Germany Deutsche Bank, Eric Kohlsgarten-Heil in his 2nd season at SailGP, looking for a big win here.
And he's putting disturbed wind onto Emirates GBR from there. Textbook manoeuvre for the Germans. They're going to look for a right turn at the top here. We can see right now, well, the wind's pretty different where the Swiss are. They've got a lot of breeze, and Switzerland need a good race here. They're getting it at the moment. There's a big turn up in the overall standings right now. Were things to stay as they are.
Best race of the day for the Americans, US SailGP, Taylor Canfield. They are currently sitting in 4th place, winners of their last race, and that is Red Bull Italy. They sit in 7th.
2, 1, slow turn. Fast turn, coming down.
There we go, a little bit of a change of strategy. Stuart Bithell, the wing trimmer there, saying we can spin it fast if you want it to Eric Heil. As we see now a split on the course by Emirates Great Britain. Fletcher rolls the dice. Will this be a gain? It looked like a lot of wind on the German boat. Look at that, they're fast out of the gate there. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out right. And in the pack, New Zealand, Australia, can they make some crucial overtakes on this last lap?
Here we go at gate number 3 on to leg number 4. And the question that everyone wants to know is, where is the wind? For that, we check in down on the water. Lisa Darmanin, what can you tell us? Where's the sweet spot on the course right now?
Oh, it's chaos out here, to be honest, Todd. It's changing every minute. I mean, these athletes normally make it look easy, but everyone's making it look hard. And that just goes to show how difficult it is. I think the angle is with Emirates Great Britain. They've picked a beautiful angle right now compared to, say, the black foils. And then over on the far side, ROCKWOOL Denmark, they've got the hammer down.
Yes, they do indeed, Stevie. They learned their lesson. They moved all the way back up to 6th place. Here's the race to the final.
Yeah, they're doing it so tight we can see, but it'd be big for Germany. They'd get themselves right in the hunt. I think where the Black Foils have gone, they might have been out of position for a moment, but they're in a lot of wind now, and they've really cut a serious amount of distance. They were 7th. Halfway up the leg before. They're now looking like they're 4th, could easily be 3rd. Black Foils are really picking their way around the course, and Australia are right back in the game here. Slingsby, well, he loves a fight. He's got a fight, and he's back in it.
Hannah, look at these angles. I mean, you look at Brazil, you look at Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, they're almost straight at it.
Yeah, that's right. And it can make it quite difficult to pick your gate mark out of the bottom, because it might be that you go against the bias of the direction you're sailing at the moment. And don't forget, they're lining themselves up for this final mark of the course after this, where they turn left towards the finish. So it's not just about what's happening right now, it's about what your next mark plan is as well.
Yeah, tricky manoeuvre here. New Zealand, oh, they didn't have a... Oh, it's tight in the pack there! Wow. Switzerland late to manoeuvre on the Kiwis. Wow, they maybe didn't see them. That was so tight. The Black Foils were avoided. Is there an overlap? Australia have the right here. Burling must give space. Slingsby's back in the game.
No doubt about that. Tom Slingsby was going to slot it in there. If he had an inch, he was going to take it. And that's exactly what he does. And look at this. The Bonds Flying Ruse now into 3rd.
What a comeback this would be here. We're going to have Simo-Tax on the boundary here. Australia manoeuvre first, but they've cemented that lead change against New Zealand.
Penalty Italy, relative Denmark.
Craig Mitchell calling out the penalty on Italy, so Denmark will go ahead of them. The Italians will drop back to 7th place. The battle is on, though, as Emirates GBR now has moved into 1st.
On Canada parking in front of Australia, they had to keep clear, and they've come crashing down off the foils there.
And a penalty to the Bonds Flying Ruse. And the word is they did not give enough room to the Black Foils at the mark.
Wow, I'm surprised. They must have not been overlapped, so it would have been the other way round, where New Zealand didn't need to give Australia room, is all I can think there. It looked very tight to me, but they do have the data in the UMPAP that will give it the distance to within millimetres. So I'll bow to the judgment of the umpires there, but it's a lead change. Australia have to let New Zealand past, and I'll look forward to hearing the feedback on that after racing.
As they come down the home stretch, it was a tight race all the way through all 6 legs, but in the end, the Emirates winning moment goes the way of Emirates GBR. Dylan Fletcher and company take a bow in race number 4.
3, 2, 1.
Great race, though, Stevie, for Germany Deutsche Bank. They were in the mix. Eric Coastgarten-Heil and his crew really rock solid in 2nd place, and it looks like 3rd's going to go the way of Mubadala Brazil and Martini Grail.
We can see a tight race here. New Zealand and Australia in a sprint to the finish. Australia managed to burn off that penalty somewhere up that upwind leg, and they're going to hang on to a 4th. What a result for the Bonds Flying Ruse. This is absolutely crucial, and they delivered when they had to.
Tom Slingsby should be a little happier than he was at the end of the last race as they hold on to that position, just edging out.
Penalty USA, not giving mark room, go behind France.
Oh, that's going to be a big loss for the United States here. They've got to go all the way behind the French.
Go to 7th.
Behind the French, make sure you leave. Trying to keep us going.
It's going to be hard to manage it versus ROCKWOOL Denmark, but ROCKWOOL Denmark have made a bit of a hash of their turn away at the mark there. They were slow, couldn't deal with the power coming on, and ROCKWOOL Denmark are going to lose some places here.
So the USA will have to give up that 7th to the French. They'll drop back to, they'll give the 6th. They'll drop back to 7th. Good for a team that was really struggling for performance. And as they finish as high as 4th early in that race, they will finish officially in 7th. At the line, it looks like it's going to be ROCKWOOL Denmark getting the 8th. The 9th goes to Switzerland. Wow, I mean, Lisa, it is topsy-turvy. Lisa Darman had talked about it, Stevie. It's chaos down there with the conditions just all over the place.
Yeah, it's variable. It's quite choppy, the course, and they're very much, it's so on and off breeze-wise, I think, is the problem. It's either really, really windy, and they're feeling super powered up on these small wings, or there's not enough power for them, and they're struggling to then get the flow over the wing. So it's a really, really hard day. And yeah, I've got to say, the fleet did look relatively average out there in these conditions, which is just something we don't normally say.
And crazy how the consistency works, Hannah, because we saw the team right here, Red Bull Italy, win the last race, and they come this run and they finish in 11th.
Yeah, and you can just see how that's showing how difficult the conditions are. And, you know, Stevie, you mentioned the sailors generally make these boats look pretty easy to sail, but today that's just not the case. So you've got to be really in sync with the conditions, happy sailing the boat to get a good result in each race.
Tough day for Spain in race number 3. They finished in second. They finished dead last in race number 4.
Well, of course, this turned out to be the defining start of the event, we now know. And a lot of boats were getting out of position in the pre-start. France, massively out of position. But I think when the wind is this shifty, you've got to build more margin into your start and your pre-race plan. All the boats were quite high risk, quite high on the line. And whilst in the race before, maybe that was excusable, we had seen these big shifts coming in, so surely they could have seen it coming.
Yeah, I think the time on distance is really tricky, but you're right, that right shift has been present for a number of races today. So the thing for me was that Bond's Flying Rouge just probably didn't need to push as hard. With so many boats out of position, it was a huge risk to push that hard. Ultimately, they were punished with being over the line early and having to get behind a lot of the boats in the fleet.
Yeah, and so from a fairly average start, Emirates, Great Britain were in a good position. New Zealand, Spain, all those boats that have been doing well overall were really struggling. We just saw the boats started to get quite hard to sail. As soon as it's gusty and shifty, having that adaptability on the wing control, on managing the speed of the boat was really hard. But here, Fletcher, always on the attack, and this turned out to be the Saint-Tropez winning moment here, where they split away, gained some distance on the Germans, and then got it done.
And I think that's where the Emirates GBR team are doing so well at the moment. They're able to convert just those few races from a second to a first. Makes a total difference at the end of the day when it comes to the overall standings.
So it becomes the minor gains of Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR. They go 100% on the Emirates fly time as they take a massive victory in race number 4, which would prove to be the difference. So after 4 races on day number 1, it looks like this, and this would go on to be the final results. Emirates GBR take the win by 1 point clear of the Black Foes of New Zealand. Los Galos, despite that terrible finish in race 4, they finished on the podium in 3rd. Germany Deutsche Bank just off the podium as they finished in 4th, but the Bons Flying Rouge, out of the top 3, they finished in 5th.
And let's take a look at the Rolex Precision athletes of the day. The Black Foils, they didn't necessarily win any of the starts, but they were there or thereabouts all day. And Liv Mackay helping them sail the shortest distance to put them in 2nd overall, which a really, really great day for them. We didn't see too much of the Spanish today, but the highest average speed shows it just wasn't the priority of the day today. But Emirates GBR flight controller, 99.83% on such a tricky day. Really impressive statistics there.
Great day of sailing, great win provided by Mother Nature. Of course, SailGP powered by nature, the DP World highest speed of the day. How about that, 98.86, and it goes the way of the Bons Flying Rouge.
Well, my ROCKWOOL rock star of the day went to Ian Jensen, wing trimmer on board Emirates GBR, but a big shout out to the grinders, Neil Hunter, Nick Hutton. That wing's not moving without their powerful input.
Back in Saint-Tropez, and this becomes a big situation because provisional results now become official. It will be Emirates GBR who pick up the 10 points and the win despite not a second day of racing. The Black Bulls of New Zealand will finish for 2nd, and Los Gallos Spain desperately needed this performance. They finished in 3rd. Germany Deutsche Bank, Bons Flying Rouge round out your top 5. And this was the scene earlier today before the bad weather rolled in. Not as, not as loud and proud as we would usually see, Stevie. The crowd not in attendance, but they did want to have this official and give them their due. It's Emirates GBR, Dylan Fletcher being presented with the wheel, courtesy of Thomas Cowler, the chairman of the ROCKWOOL Group.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible day's racing yesterday, and they were deserved winners. They pulled off the big comebacks when they needed to, and, you know, big moment for the team and huge in the whole season as we look at it, really. These points are going to turn out to be crucial, and for some of the teams that missed yesterday as an opportunity, well, what a disappointment.
Well, you got to give them their due, and I know it was a little bit more muted until the bubbly came out, Hannah, but you've been on this team before. This is a great moment.
Yeah, a really great moment, especially for a team. They've been so consistent across a number of events. Haven't quite managed to get it done in the finals, so they'll be really happy with this event result.
Well, lesson learned, you never know if the second day of racing is going to happen because, as we've said, SailGP powered by nature. After the racing, Lisa Darmanin caught up with the winners.
Congratulations to both of you. Obviously not the normal way to win, but you still got to spray the champagne.
It's a shocker, isn't it? Normally in our sailing kit, so yeah, this is not so nice. But yeah, I mean, amazing to win. Great day yesterday. Obviously gutted for the fans and everyone that we can't race today, but yeah, what a day yesterday.
It was spectacular. Racing was so difficult, Dylan. You must be pretty happy you came away on top after day one.
Yeah, absolutely stoked, yeah. Great day racing and 80-metre wings, and we're just looking forward to Geneva. You know, disappointing not to be out there, but Geneva's going to be fantastic.
And with sailing, obviously every point counts, every race counts. Overall, the leaderboard, you guys must be pretty happy with where you're sitting in the pointy end of the season.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I think to be in the mix with the top three, you know, there's 4 of us super tight on points, and I think the last three events, anything's gonna happen, and to be in the mix, I think, is all we kind of hope for at the start of the season. So yeah, we're excited for the rest of it.
Ben, amazing win for your team. We're getting to the pointy end of the season. Points are close, but you must be really proud of how they're racing.
Oh, they've done brilliantly. I mean, it's been an up and down season, as it has been for all of the teams, but the last couple of events, Germany with the setback, with the crash, coming back from that, and then sailing, you know, just brilliantly yesterday in pretty tricky conditions. We can really see the team are gelling well, and this is a critical moment in the season with this triple header now, and then looking to the final in Abu Dhabi, November, so all to play for.
Well, you've raced at the top level, but now you've got to sit on the sideline. Is it more stressful out there racing or watching your team?
I can tell you it's way more stressful watching. I mean, it's just biting the fingernail moments. Some of these, you know, the racing's just getting so close, and I think what's fantastic is the quality of the racing, and we can see that. I mean, okay, we're having a few crashes now and then, which is not ideal, but it's action-packed.
So Sir Ben Ainsley giving the thoughts on how his team performed in one day of racing. And so now we look at this. How about that? After 9 events, it is the Black Foils now that have taken over the top spot. They are 2 points clear of Emirates GBR, the winners of this event. The Bons Flying Roos still in a top 3 position. And then you've got Los Gallos just 3 points back of that. And that's where really Le Bleu of France still has an opportunity to make it into the top 3. But for North Star Canada, that was a brutal terminal blow to them, not getting any big points at this event. So now the focus becomes on those top 5 teams. Can they get it done, as we now turn our attention to some of the greatest moments we've seen throughout the season? And why not kick things off earlier in the season back in Auckland, New Zealand?
Well, yeah, this is where we came in with the new T-foils, wasn't it, Todd? And a big revolution, really, for SailGP. I think, you know, a bit higher performance, going to give us better performance in light winds and in strong winds, and we've started to already see some of those top speeds.
Yeah, and it could have been a bit of a leveler of the playing field, because some of these teams are so experienced, whereas some of the newer teams, they weren't already used to the L-foils. So it was a kind of steep learning curve for everyone, but actually acted as a bit of a leveler for the whole fleet.
Just a precursor of what we were going to see throughout. Remember, this was just event number 2. And the one thing that stands out in my mind, other than the T-foils, Hannah and Stevie, was the massive crowd that turned out in New Zealand. It was unbelievable. From one big crowd to another, we turn our attention now to San Francisco. And for some reason, the Spanish, they like the waters in the Pacific.
Yeah, kind of a really defining moment for the Spanish team, I suppose. In some ways, they started this season, you know, was it a fluke last season? Did that season 4 win come as a bit of a fluke? And I think when we got to San Francisco, they like the bigger race course. I think it lets them have a bit of space and put the hammer down. But they really showed us, or I believe they showed us, that they are a real contender. They are one of the big teams. You know, they're one of the main mixes, and they showed their intention for season 5.
And I think one of the things that they've done a really good job of is really kind of making a team solid unit. In these windier conditions where there is a bit more space on the course, they don't make very many errors. So it's really tough to beat them in that kind of scenario. But they have shown a little bit of weakness when it comes to the slightly trickier conditions.
Yeah, and they've got a big few weeks ahead of them. I think we're obviously to Switzerland next, then we're off to Spain. And I think for the Spanish, we just saw on the points there, they're kind of 3 points back. They really need to be ahead of a few of those teams in the top 3 overall if they're going to get to another grand final. But San Fran was just so good for them.
And then it was on to New York, where Spain would win another one. But this was a huge moment, Hannah. Martini Grail guiding Mubadala Brazil to the first victory for this team, new to the league, with a female at the wheel, and they were just stellar on the Hudson.
Yeah, and I think it was always a matter of when they were going to win their first race, not if. But to have it come in their first season, really impressive. There's a huge amount of experience on the boat, but still, they're still trying to put together a new team. When the competition is so tough, to get the win at this stage, I think it was really impressive.
And Stevie, this is a very good team with Martini Grail at the wheel, Paul Goodison, Lee McMillan. They've got some serious talent on that boat.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent on that boat and a really strong team, but it's a very different format of racing for Martini, and the way that she's adapted to it so quickly, it's just cool to see. And that, you know, Big Apple setting, the big victory.
SailGP comes back to Portsmouth, and this is Hannah's neck of the woods, so I'm going to give you the first shot at this. Your old team, GBR, they win 3 races. They looked like the team to beat. No one was going to touch them, and then it was the black foils that get him at the end and get the points.
Yeah, and consistency is massive in terms of getting to the final, but then you have to be able to win the final when you're there. But I think for the overall season, the confidence building when you're so good in the fleet racing has got to be good, and it's just about whether you can put it together in the last race.
Yeah, and I think for me, you know, we talk about why these are our biggest moments of the season. Well, it was that crowd. You know, Auckland, Great Britain, amazing crowds, and it just shows you what's to come with SailGP, I think.
And this was the moment in my book so far, the speed. There's just something about it. You can't translate it. It just doesn't show up. But when the moment was right at mark number 1, how about ROCKWOOL Denmark going full Viking, Stevie? They dip into triple digits and then some.
Yeah, I mean, Sehested, we saw all the interviews afterwards, how the boat was shaking, how we had a hint that there was a record maybe could come. And that's why we got the new T-foils. We wanted to get these high speeds. We wanted to get the fast, serious, frantic racing. And I think, you know, ROCKWOOL showed us what's possible. We got new, faster rudders to come. This record is not going to last much longer, Todd.
Well, speaking of rudders, Hannah, we had a rudder incident at the same event in Sassnitz, and this one did not go well. Keep your eye on the French on the left side of your screen.
Yeah, huge and really scary moment for the French in practice race in Sassnitz. But these things are going to happen. We are really racing the highest performance boats, and the sailors are always pushing them to the limits. So we are going to see these kind of things happen. But what was great for me was the French team managed to turn it around in an unbelievable fashion to come and take the win in Sassnitz, and that shows some real resilience with their team. So really impressive performance from them, and to come back from that setback just shows what kind of confidence they're building towards the end of the season.
Well, there was a team that desperately needed a win in a big-time way, and Quentin Delapierre and his team, I don't know if I've ever seen a team more happy to be in the winner's circle as France claims the victory in Sassnitz. So racing canceled on Super Saturday as a threat of thunderstorms and lightning in the area, so they have to shut it down. So we take the provisional results from the day before, and Emirates GBR get the win at the 9th event. The ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix goes the way of the Brits. So up next, it is event 10, and you don't have to wait long because it's less than a week away. It will be the Rolex Switzerland Sail Grand Prix Geneva. That's September 20th and 21st. Another first-time visit for SailGP as we venture in to Lake Geneva. The Rolex Sail Grand Prix is coming to Switzerland. It's the first time that 12 world-class teams have raced on Lake Geneva.
There's a massive incident. What a moment. Big problems.
For Sebastian Snyder's Swiss team, they have had their best season yet. Can his young and dynamic crew make a charge up the scoreboard? Who will conquer Lake Geneva for the first time in SailGP? So that wrapped things up. Mother Nature shutting down the racing on Saturday because of the threat of lightning and thunderstorms. So the win at the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez goes the way of Emirates GBR. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next weekend at Geneva. For Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, and Lisa Darman, and I'm Todd Harris. Congratulations to Emirates GBR. Welcome to the Côte d'Azur. This is the ROCKWOOL France Sail Grand Prix Saint-Tropez.
Keep the wheel.
Welcome back to the show, Mubadla, Brazil. Tom Slingsby's got it sorted out.
But the black foils have absolutely nailed that. That's a shocker.
Welcome to the show, Italy.
The whole fleet's going wide here.
Dylan Fletcher and company take a bow.